As with the musical tradition, Indian classical dance is another art form passed down through time.
Renowned Kathak exponent Smeetha Maharaj was inspired by her mother, and now she's passing on her love of dance to a new generation. Kajal chatted to Smeetha about the importance of nurturing tradition and talent.
One of the 8 main forms of Indian classical dance, Kathak is known for its accelerating tempo, emphasis on footwork and narrative content. But Kajal wasn't focused on the story of the dance so much as the life story of a performer and teacher who's devoted herself to keeping the tradition alive in our country.
Culture is a defining aspect of what it means to be human. When the Indians first arrived in South Africa, they brought with them their art, knowledge, beliefs and customs. And over the years, it's been passed down from generation to generation. It is now woven as part of our beautiful, unique South African culture. Smeetha Maharaj is a fierce supporter of the Indian performing arts. So let's see how over the years she's nurtured her love for dance.
Born in Asheville in Durban, Smeetha was the daughter of the late Hirday Gyan Singh and Draupadi Singh. At age 6, she began studying Bharatanatyam under Kumari Jayalakshmi Naidu and later learned folk dances as a member of Sri Shankar Ganguly's troupe.
Smeetha ji, where did your love for dance come from?
I think it was a natural progression of me getting into dance, because initially I didn't know what Indian dance was all about. Then I was exposed to it at a tender age of 6. And then there was a gap in my life, and then I did a bit of folk dancing for a while. Later, my late guru Nataraj Gopi Krishna visited South Africa, and when I watched him dance on stage, and that's what kind of reawakened this classical interest in the arts again.
You studied in India for many years. What was that like?
A great transformation took place when I went to Bombay, and this was in 1980. A whole new world opened up, and what I experienced there has been the happiest time in my life. I was exposed to classical dance and like daily routine of dance that I never did before, and I did everything that I loved.
With Bollywood booming around the world, do you feel that youngsters are still interested in studying the classical form?
Well, I try to point out to them that the greatest Bollywood actresses, the #1 heroines, have all studied classical dance. If we take Madhuri Dixit, Aishwarya Rai, they all are qualified dancers, Bharatanatyam or Kathak. And that's why they are so great on stage, because and on celluloid, because of their expression and what classical art, dance has taught them.
What for you as a dance teacher is most gratifying?
Firstly, as a dance teacher, I get an immense satisfaction at watching my students grow as dancers. When they come to you first, they cannot move, they have bad posture perhaps, or cannot move their feet. They all claim to have 2 left feet. And so over the years, as you groom them and you have this final product in front of you and they do the graduation, yes, it brings an immense sense of pride.
What is your vision for Indian classical and folk dance in South Africa?
I would like to bring more styles of folk, Indian folk, because as you know, India has 26 states, each state has like 3 or 4 varieties of folk dances. I feel the older generation is left out because they love to dance, and a lot of them have not done classical dance. So folk dances, could be quite an enjoyable experience for them.
How can we ensure that the Indian performing arts are preserved?
The generation now that's presently learning the arts need to research a lot of the classical dance. Only if they know the history of Indian dance and understand the theory of dance will they really know how important it is to do classical dance as opposed to just Bollywood.
And with regard to costume, how different are the styles for folk and for classical and Bollywood?
Bollywood costume would be totally different in the sense that the style of it would be either in a palazzo pants, the shorter top, and a little bit of the body revealing. And very glitzy, a lot of glamour and color as well. Classical has to be firstly, there's every style, like Bharatanatyam has its specific costume that you have to wear. Kathak also, and whatever dance you do, the style of wearing perhaps the dupatta on the head, if it's a tarana, and then if it's a Hindu style of performing a bhajan or a stuti, then you wear it differently. So each style and each particular form of dance has particular costume.
Kajal shared a nostalgic moment when she once again performed some of the Kathak steps that she had learnt at the Nateshwar Dance Academy, which was founded by Smeetha's mother.
Ms. Draupadi Singh started the Nateshwar Dance Academy 35 years ago, and she's also one of the reasons Smeetha took up dance. Smeetha ji, your mum was pivotal in the creation of the dance school and your dance career. Share that story with us.
My mum was instrumental in sending me to my first dance class at the age of 6, where I studied Bharatanatyam. My mum actually had a great interest for the arts and culture and loved dance. So later, when I was at university, my mum and dad both got together and sent me to India to study Kathak.
How involved were your parents in the cultural aspects in the community?
Very involved. I think if they were not, then I wouldn't have myself been introduced to our vernacular. My mom was a Hindi teacher at SRS Hindi School, as well as in the old days they used to teach in garages, if you recall the stories. I also recall us participating in the Hindi Eisteddfods, and my mom herself danced in the Hindi Eisteddfods and taught students drama, dance, verse, singing, whatever. And so I was exposed to all of this.
Your mom was an award-winning costume designer. Was she a trained dressmaker, or how did she get into it?
She's naturally talented. My family, she comes from a background of artists as well. And she designed a lot of saris, and in those days, used to do embroidery on saris. She loved designing things, and she had a flair for this. She pursued it when I started performing. So started designing simple costumes, and even for the Eisteddfods, so simple things. And eventually she started going to India and getting stuff from there and incorporating it in her designs. So it got more sophisticated, her costumes, and it was something that we were always commended when we performed, that our costumes were outstanding.
You yourself are a mom. Have your kids followed in your footsteps?
Fortunately, they have. My daughter Ruhi loves Kathak. She's also studied jazz, Spanish, tap, and she's doing ballroom now, and she loves Kathak, and she went to India with me and also did a bit of Kathak in India and Bollywood as well. My son does a bit of Bollywood. He also loves dancing.
The Academy has a number of well-received productions to its credit, including the popular Chalo Cinema series and most recently Sangharsh, which portrayed the struggle of Indians in South Africa.
As a dance teacher, a dancer, a producer, director, mom and wife, how do you manage your time?
When you love something, you will find a way around it. Fortunately, I had a great support system. Firstly, my mom, dad, and then my family around me, my sister-in-laws and family, always took care of the kids while I could go out and teach.
Smeetha ji, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for dancing for us. It was absolutely beautiful. And I hope that more people follow in your footsteps to preserve the Indian performing arts.
Thank you so much for having me.
Smeetha's commitment to preserving the Indian performing arts in South Africa is undoubtedly admirable. And I can only hope that those of us involved in the industry will follow suit.